Mm.
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 Mm. Mm.
Oh, yeah, we're also a podcast. Oh, baby. We here.
We steer.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna, and this is GPS.
Yeah. I wanted to make fun of Beware for saying that he thought that intro was oddly sexual.
I don't think it was odd.
But as I was thinking about how I'd make fun of him, I realized he's right.
I don't think it was oddly sexual. I think, if anything, it's to be expected at this point. I mean, like, at some point, folks, like, we're 15 weeks into the season. We've been doing this show for, 3 years? If at this point we're finding any of this behavior odd, I don't know.
That's on you.
Yeah,
that's on. Is this year 4? I think this is year 4, actually. Season 4.
4? Oh, good God. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to victim blame, but
yeah,
at some point, the audience, when they're clicking on it, they're like, all right, we're expecting pooping, where there's probably going to be some guttural sounds that are going to be made. There's definitely going to be penis jokes.
That's and I cannot wait to talk about today's sponsor later.
So this is legitimately...
You guys, I think, made this happen. I think you guys made this happen.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I think that this is from the audience. So I'm actually, this is going to be pretty great. This will be pretty... Yeah, Josh Allen's an absolute monster. We have a ton to talk about, a ton of injuries yesterday. There's a bunch of injury updates. We have some people who are out for the season. There's some people who are week to week, some massive injuries as well.
Yeah.
It was a crazy day in the NFL, and it sucks, especially any injury, but to be this close to the postseason, and now we only have 3 games left. It's coming down to the wire.
Yeah, there's injuries. There was just a ton of bad, sloppy football. I think there was 51 turnovers on Sunday.
There was
which is the most on the
10, Brandon.
In the Bengals game.
10. There was 26 flags.
Yeah, it's crazy. Most since 2016, I think, turnovers on a single Sunday. A lot of those were also in the Broncos Colts game.
Yeah.
And just a bunch of quarterbacks who you didn't have high expectations for also getting benched this week. Will Levis got benched. Jake Haener got benched.
Jameis Winston
got benched. Like, it was a little nuts. And my only gripe for this week is the 3 games, like the 3 or 4 games I wanted to watch the most were all in the afternoon window.
Yeah.
Like, I thought Broncos Colts should have been moved to the morning slot because we had Bills and Lions, you had Eagles and Steelers, and
Buccaneers Chargers.
Yeah, Bucs Chargers.
Which, by the way,
and yes, thank you Tampa Bay. Thank you Baker Mayfield and Bucky Irving and Mike Evans. I love you guys.
I'm so happy for Mike Evans, man. I really hope he gets 1,000 again.
Everybody's pulling for it.
Everybody's pulling for Mikey Evans to hit 1,000.
I don't know if the Colts are going to be making the playoffs after that. I mean, because the Texans also won, and that's a big win for the Texans to beat the Dolphins, or another contending AFC team. So, Texans are this close putting that thing away. And
Texans fans were very happy with the Broncos yesterday.
Yeah.
I love being able to help another fan base by winning, not losing.
I mean, because the Texans, they clinched the AFC South yesterday. So, I think that was going to be kind of the one way in for the Colts, to be honest with you. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do that anymore. Dude, Buccaneers, man. I mean, what a performance. We were talking about that for a hot second, but dude, Mike Evans, a monster. Baker Mayfield, holy crap, man. and going up against that defense. And I picked the Chargers to win, even though, again, Gus Edwards, they have no run game without J.K. Dobbins. But I was like, okay, that defense is going to be able to do enough. They should be able to stop them. They should be able to move the ball because the Buccaneers defense is a little wishy-washy. But nope. Holy crap, man. And that's a huge win for the Buccaneers. They pull up front. We're going to see the Falcons tonight, who I would assume are going to get a win over the Raiders, but who the hell knows with Kirk Cousins. But yeah, the Buccaneers are in good shape to win the South right now. Good shape.
Yeah.
Let's go, Max. You see that, Perna? That's because of you. Max, offer for the house was accepted.
Hell yeah.
Max just had to use those sneaky hands, and he was able to get that house. So congrats.
Nice, Max. I love it.
Nice mattresses in there, I imagine.
He's out of the mattress game.
Oh, he's out of the mattress game. Getting out of it.
Out of it.
It was too dog eat dog.
Yeah, he got a baby coming. Little baby coming.
So no more mattress game.
Congrats.
Okay. Congrats, Max. Let's go.
Yeah, the 40 points the Bucks put up on the Chargers, most by any team this season against LA.
Yep.
And the Ravens put up 30, and I think the Bengals 27. So that's impressive, Tampa.
No, they
this one
credit.
Didn't know how Tampa was going to be able to move forward. They look legit, dude. If the Bucks can beat the Eagles in the playoffs again, save anybody from having to play the Eagles. And now it's like you want Tampa to beat the Eagles because I don't think anybody wants to play Philly right now.
No, nobody wants to play Philly, who had a big win over Pittsburgh yesterday. Damn, man. I think also too, it was a really helpful game for Jalen Hurts. I think that there's a lot of noise coming from outside the building and from within the building too. But Jalen Hurts, 25 for 32, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he also had a rushing touchdown too, ran it 15 times. I mean, yeah, there's not going to be a lot of criticism about Jalen Hurts. And I feel like after last week, it was just elevated, the criticism of Jalen Hurts, because he didn't have a great game last week. And then you have this stuff like with A.J. Brown and Brandon Graham talking about stuff. So I think this is a perfect game that they needed to have. The defense continues to be really damn good. That was crazy. The one thing I wanted to pull up, because folks were talking about this on the live stream. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to share this. The most impressive thing from the Eagles yesterday was that final drive, because that final
drive or some shit,
dude, it was a work of art. So here's the thing, right? This final drive, because this is a relatively close game for a hot second, 10 minutes and 29 seconds. So it was a 21 play drive, and they just grinded them down. And
that's a lot of third down conversions.
Yep, fourth down conversion. And Pittsburgh just never saw the ball again. And they moved all the way down to Pittsburgh's 8. So this is why the Eagles are so dangerous. They have the defense, right, that can stick around with anybody.
Yeah.
And they can just grind you down. And it wasn't even the Saquon Barkley show yesterday.
No, they did it a different way, which is scary for anybody who's got to play them. And
didn't see it.
We've talked. Yeah, Allen MVP. We've talked a lot about the tush push over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But it being such a reliable way to pick up a yard is significant. And I'm going to compare it to the Broncos game, because when you can just pick it up on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 with that play, it's kind of like having a secret weapon. Like, it really is. There was a play in the Broncos game. It was 3rd and 1, and the Broncos were running like poo-poo. The run game was caca. I'll tie that to our sponsor later as well. But 3rd and 1, they drop Bo Nix back. He throws it 20 yards downfield for his 2nd or 3rd pick of the day on 3rd and 1, because you don't have the confidence to pick up 1 yard, just with your regular run game. But if you're an offense who is in that situation, and every single time, let's just run that play and we'll pick it up, that can change so many things. It can prevent you from making a fucking mistake, like I watched Bo Nix do in a game that was wild yesterday. So having that on top of that defense playing, really good football, on top of going against Russell Wilson, the Russell Wilson I saw a lot of last year. You know, that's like what's kind of hard to convey about Russ. Like,
yeah,
good defense. He's had a very nice football season. But what did he do for the team to bail him out, to, you know, make a play? And he wasn't bad in that game. He just, and it's fine because you're only paying him, you know, $1 million or whatever. It stung when that's your guy and you're paying him, you know, 30, 40 million, and he can't elevate your team the way you want him to in those situations.
And there was no George Pickens too, which obviously does make a difference in that game because he was inactive for
sure. But there's been, you know, at times for Josh Allen, no Coleman, no Kincaid. Mahomes hasn't had his dudes for most of the year. Like,
well, Russell Wilson ain't Josh Allen.
It doesn't mean Russ is bad. It's just like he's just not at the level we got used to. And in games like this, he's not the guy who's gonna get you the win anymore. And I think we saw that from Pittsburgh. And also, you know, the Steelers, TJ Watt sprained his ankle or something in that game. Like,
yeah. So real quick, just to go through this.
Rough.
So it was just announced McNeil, the defensive lineman for the Lions, that's season ending. So he's out. That is brutal. He's been good for them this year. Mahomes has a high ankle sprain. TJ Watt has a low ankle sprain. Geno Smith is getting tested on his knee. Structurally, they announced yesterday that it seemed okay. PS2 has a minor ankle sprain. And then also Bose, a wide receiver for the Dolphins, with that scary hit yesterday. There was an update that came out about 30 minutes ago. Said after saying a head injury, remains at a local Houston hospital for evaluation overnight. He has movement in all extremities, and an initial test have revealed positive results, and he's still under care of the doctors. So, at least good news that he's moved around. He's a former Packer too. But yeah, a lot of it was in the title too. A lot of injuries yesterday, and the Lions, man, they just lose another one. You talk about the Steelers in particular. TJ Watt, depending on how the severity of that injury, that completely changes the trajectory of the Steelers as they're about to enter a gauntlet of games too. Like, it's not going to be a fun time right now for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And what, Nick Chubb broke his foot too.
Yep. Chubb broke
in
his
a meaningless game for the Browns. Like, it was a brutal day for injuries. Yeah. And honestly, like, the Lions losing 2 defenders, that's actually better than a normal weekend for Detroit. But these are 2 important players who are going, like Carlton Davis went down in that game, going to IR. Like, they're fucked. I
Detroit
think
just keeps getting punched in the face.
Yeah,
I mean, again, like, you look at that defense too. I mean, they could not stop the Bills at all. Like, the entire game. You know, Josh Allen was running all over them, man. I mean, they had no response to it. You know, and they didn't go away. They kept fighting, but
no, yeah, their offense can hang. They can beat a lot of teams, but I don't. When you lose that many starters, and it's not just they're on IR. Like, maybe they get Anzalone back at the end of the season. Maybe they get Hutchinson back if they can stay alive in the playoffs, you know, long enough. But it's bad. It is bad. For Detroit on the injury front.
There was also not one, but 2 instances yesterday, one for the Bengals and one for the Indianapolis Colts with Jonathan Taylor, who dropped the effing ball right before the goal line. That is one thing I will never, ever understand from any football perspective. You are holding on to that football until you are in the back of the end zone. What are we doing out here? My dude, like that's a high school.
Oh, that changed the game for me, Tom.
Yeah,
that was a big one.
I'd say so.
And of all the players, Jonathan Taylor's one of the last ones I would have guessed might make that mistake. And I mentioned it in the recap last night. Like, for a veteran running back to do that, a guy who is, you know, used to scoring touchdowns. He hadn't fumbled hadn't lost a fumble in 2 years. I think it was his first fumble of the season. Okay. So ball security, great. We've seen Jonathan Taylor be the best running back in the league. So for him to make that mistake, it is as rare of a play as you will ever see, because Bengals, that's a defender, right? It's a defender running into the end zone. He's trying to do whatever. Yeah. I get a defender getting too excited. They don't get into the end zone very often. And the other situation, usually like a rookie, right? A rookie, maybe he doesn't score much. It's his first NFL touchdown or two. He fucks up, but Jonathan Taylor, and that changed the game.
Yeah.
Not that the Broncos did anything with that, Tom. They went 3-and-out right after that. Just here's the greatest gift the football gods can glaze upon you. How about we do nothing with it, is what the Broncos offense said. But it took 7 points off the board for the Colts, and I think in the grand scheme of the game, that probably makes a difference. I don't know if the Colts get desperate and try to run a trick play that leads to a Nick Bonito pick six. But I will forever be grateful to Jonathan Taylor. In Indianapolis, the Colts, just in general, continue to give to the Broncos. You know, so many great gifts they've given us. John Elway, Peyton Manning, and now a winning season for the first time since 2016, and a 91% chance to make the playoffs. So thank you, Indy. Well, should we keep talking? Oh, what? No, before we keep talking about this game, Tom, I am very excited for this. Oh, now you guys have forced us to talk about poop so many times. Yes, we started the trend.
Yeah, we did.
We started the trend. Oh, that I didn't think about this graphic much. Here, watch. Let me go full screen. There, look at that tushy. Tom's big tushy. Look at that. That we have Tushy as a sponsor. We got a bidet because we talked about taking poops so many times on this show. So many times. And when this opportunity came through, I was like, Tom, we have to do this, right? Like, this is maybe the most perfect GPS sponsor we could have.
I mean, if there's something that's going to symbolize a brand, it might be this.
Yeah. All you got to do is you go to tushy.com/GPS to grab your deal before it's gone. All right. Now, I've thought about a bidet before. Remember the great toilet paper shortage of 2020?
Oh, I remember.
A lot of people got bidets then. And the amount of time it takes me to wipe sometimes, I'm like, you know what? A bidet might not be a bad option.
Good investment.
But I never used one.
No.
I installed the Tushy, and it's easy to install.
Even you could do
very easy. I did it. I did it.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't call your dad. He came over.
Nope. Did it all by myself.
Like a big boy.
And honestly, the instruction manual, it's very funny. There's like jokes in there. Because like you're talking about installing something to clean your poop off your butt. So they have fun with it. The packaging was great. Every step of the way, I was like, I like this more and more and more. And then I used it. And this Jess was on the spot and got me trying it out for the first time. Hey, I had to test it. Get out of here. That laugh was when the water caressed my... Every time it got me. Now, and in the instructions, it says, do not test the water until you're sitting on the toilet. Of course, I didn't read that part. I tested it when I was not sitting on the toilet. It shot right on me. It shot on me, Tom. But here's a shot. Look at that nice install. Look at that nice install of my bidet.
10 out of 10. Just 10 out of 10.
Link in the description. Give the gift of practical luxury that benefits everyone in your household. Go to tushy.com/GPS now to grab your deal before it's gone. And don't forget to give us a shout out while you're there to let them know the Poop Boys sent ya. Tell them the Poop Boys sent ya. HelloTushy.com/GPS for the best gift this holiday season. Might want to check shipping. I don't know how quickly it can get there. We're a little late on the read, but if you want to give somebody a butt cleaning gift, this is the one.
I didn't realize you recorded a video for it, and that caught me so off guard. That
surprise.
That was something. That was hells to the yeah.
Dude, it is. You will never forget your first bidet experience. I'm telling you.
Now, is it the warm water or cold water?
This one's cold.
Okay. All right. So it was a little little perk up. Too. Okay.
The stream is strong. And there's options for backwash.
It's
front wash.
Is it like sprinkler, jet? Like, just like on a hose. You're just like, give me the jet. Yeah. And just like lift off.
For their next one, I want you to be able to select what type of shit you just had, so it knows exactly how to clean it. But man, I'm just genuinely happy with having this now. I am going to be the biggest bidet advocate. My friends are going to be like, shut up. Stop talking about it.
It's going to be your version of an air fryer. You're going to be like, no. You got to get a bidet. It's life-changing. Life-changing.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, Peter. It was wild times. Also, speaking of a whole bunch of crap, I think the curse wheel has amounted to a whole bunch of crap as P for the D dominated the curse wheel last night as the Green Bay mother-loving Packers beat the Seattle Seahawks. That's right.
It was a good win. It was a dominant win.
Brought down. And that's what I'm saying. We got them.
Yeah.
We got them.
The Seahawks, they weren't playing well while Geno was in. They got even worse when Sam Howell came in.
Oh, my God, dude.
And he was... Go ahead.
I want to say, too, like, the offensive line for Seattle hasn't been great. It's been their defense for the past couple of weeks. And someone asked me about Geno Smith a few weeks ago. And they're like, what do we do with Geno? And there's 1 year left on his contract. And I think like Geno Smith is the perfect quarterback for the current situation in Seattle. You don't have a good O-line. The run game can be good. And it also can not be good. And I think that Geno's going to kind of get the best out of that offense at just where they are right now. That doesn't mean they don't go get a quarterback next year or after, Geno's contract is up, they go get a quarterback. But holy crap, the difference between Geno Smith and Sam Howell is significant with the tools at his disposal, especially that O-line. The Packers, we got 7 sacks last night. We never get 7 sacks. So like it was a big day for that defense, 2 interceptions as well. That defense played real good. Edgerrin Cooper being back was a game changer on that defense because he had been out, came back, led the game on the Packers in tackles, had an interception, had sacked, like he played his ass off. And we still don't have Jair Alexander. And then another returning guy on the offense, Romeo Doubs, had 2 touchdowns last night, including one phenomenal grab. I mean, like going down and getting that fingertips, dude. So the Packers, they look pretty good. There's things to nitpick. There's things to look at and be like, okay, LaFleur has not won a challenge yet this year. So that's kind of problematic. We're just wasting those. And 2, if we run it on 4th and short out of shotgun one more time up the middle, my head's going to explode. It's going to explode. But overall, a very nice win. Jordan Love has not thrown an interception in 4 games. He's been playing very, very well. Toyota Love is here. And while they didn't clinch a playoff spot, and instead with our Packers win, the Vikings clinched a playoff spot. So that's great.
Nice.
The Packers, they're in good shot now, and I think they can clinch next Monday after if they beat the Saints. So it'll be good. Low ankle sprain for TJ Watt. Low ankle sprain.
Yeah. Which is the one you want. You can recover from that. The the Broncos and Packers this season, again, been oddly linked in terms of how they play, I feel like, week to week. Again, Packers win 30-13, Broncos win 31-13. Like, if we can actually manifest this unlikely Super Bowl, the signs are pointing to it happening, Tom. Now, I don't think the Broncos actually have the team to do it. I think the Packers are much closer to having the right team to do it right now. But
dude, Bonito is having the year of his life. Bonito, season of his life, dude. You remember when you drafted him, because that was a draft where you didn't have any early picks, right? Yeah, he was round 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I literally called you. I was like, dude, I think like Bonito's gonna be pretty damn good, because I was like, I'm so happy that he is having the season he is having for you guys, because he seemed like a really good player coming out of college, and now, dude, another pick 6.
He's the first guy since TJ Watt to have 10 plus sacks and 2 defensive touchdowns. JJ Watt, sorry, JJ Watt. 10 plus sacks, 2 defensive touchdowns in the same season. It wasn't a pick 6. Technically, it was a fumble recovery because it was a backwards pass, which is just a stupid stat. If you catch the ball in the air, it should be an interception. But yeah, that basically ended the game. The Broncos win was so nice because obviously if they lost, they dropped down to 52% chance to get in the playoffs, which would have tied them with the Colts. The win knocks them up to 91. The Chargers lose, so we jump to the 6th seed in the playoff seeding. And the defense, they gave up a touchdown on the Colts opening drive. After that, they did not give up a touchdown. The points the Colts got were one of them definitely was good field position. So the defense was great again. And we adjusted without Levi Wallace, but also Anthony Richardson, who looked great on the opening drive. Like, man, I don't know what to make of Richardson right now. And I'm saying this in a game where I watched Bo Nix throw 3 horrible interceptions.
Sure.
Okay. I'm not saying Richardson's better than Bo Nix or worse than Bo Nix. But if I'm a Colts fan, I'm starting to ask, like, when's it going to come together for Richardson? And I know I'm only saying this off of one game, but it was concerning. Another, sub 50% completion day for Richardson. Indy just, their offense couldn't get anything going like the Broncos. And Denver wins that game 31-13. And I think if you didn't watch the game, you'll see some highlights. Be like, Broncos dominated that game. We were trailing all the way until the 4th quarter. And the third quarter was just, it felt like last season as a Broncos fan. We did nothing. And every gift we got from the Colts, we squandered. And Bo Nix was just making god-awful throws. And then we scored 21 points in the 4th quarter, and it feels like nobody can fucking beat us because our defense is awesome. Pat Surtain is awesome. Nick Bonito's awesome. Jonathan Cooper's awesome. Will Lutz has been money. And it's it's the thing that when the Broncos go to the playoffs, if we get bounced in the first game or if we get embarrassed in the first game, it's because we can't run the ball for shit. And I think that's one thing your Packers have done so well over the last month. And even like last night, it wasn't like Josh Jacobs was, destroying the Seahawks in the run game, but it's you trust your line. You're handing him the ball a lot, and you're just chipping away at your opponents. And the Broncos, we can't do that. We don't stay committed to the run. So, I don't know. That's what scares me. The run game. I'm
good.
I'll just say I admire the Packers' commitment to it, and it helps. It's helped limit Jordan Love's mistakes. And we've seen him play mistake-free football before. We've seen that with Bo Nix, but it's late in the season. This is a point in the year where we need to help our rookie quarterback because I don't think he's going to be perfect as the games get tougher. So that's, that's one thing that worries me just a little bit.
Well, dude, I mean, that entire first drive was all Josh Jacobs and ended with a Josh Jacobs touchdown. I mean, literally first play, throw to Josh Jacobs, throw to Josh Jacobs, Josh Jacobs run, 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 Jordan Love scramble, Josh Jacobs run, touchdown. That was the entire first drive. And you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's 26 for 94. He's the third best in yardage, in rushing yards this season is Josh Jacobs. He has 11 touchdowns, right? I mean, dude went 26 for 94, but the Packers ran for 140 yards. Like, that's how you're going to have a balanced offense. And yeah, that's going to, you could control the clock. You can lean on him. It's exactly like you said, especially if like Jordan Love is like struggling that day. Here's Josh Jacobs. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think that's a huge weapon to have. And like, that's also what makes a team like the Eagles so damn good, right? They obviously can lean on their running game and they're going to be totally fine. And some of the best teams are going to be able to do that because it's just adding that extra wrinkle. Like if you have a good defense and you can grind these teams down, like that's in the cold, like that's how you're going to win some January football as we get closer and closer to it. So
yeah, and I think Sean Payton had so much success with Drew Brees in like, just keep letting him throw it. Like he throws runs. Drew Brees threw runs, maybe better than any quarterback to play the game.
So go to Hello Tushy. So apparently the other one's a different site. Apparently just Tushy is a different site. Apparently.
HelloTushy.com/GPS. HelloTushy.com/GPS.
Oh boy, there you go. There you go.
I'm pretty sure I read it right, didn't I?
I think it was just
the link just use the link. We got the link.
Yeah, the graphic I think that just said Tushy. Yeah. Hello. There we go. Hello. Good.
Oh yeah, I was just saying Peyton, I think like he just asks. He thinks Bo Nix can do all the things Drew Brees can.
Sure,
but he's not there yet. This was just a rough week, and I liked Cortland Sutton after the game defending Bo Nix, and he was defending him against people in the stadium, yelling and talking shit during the game. He's like, this is a guy just a week ago. Everybody was like putting him in the rookie of the year conversation. How he saved the team. He's like, he had a rough stretch here. I want to see support behind this quarterback. We believe in this guy. And, I love that answer from Sutton because we've seen Bo Nix stick up for his teammates. And that was the thing when Russ was here. Like nobody's sticking up for him, nobody defending him. And it's a different locker room. It's a different team chemistry that the Broncos have. And I'm just enjoying it. And yeah, we are loving Nick Bonito, who is legit in the defensive player of the year conversation.
I think he threw 5 touchdowns yesterday, gold coins. But keep on that anti-Ravens crusade. You're great.
I mean, his level of difficulty was low, but he did absolutely destroy the New York Giants, who they are so irrelevant right now.
Dude, they're awful.
The Jets came out and got a win. The Giants.
Yeah, look at the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. Like that was nice to see. It was funny too because after his performance yesterday, there were some folks in the chat. They're like, "Oh, do the Jets bring back Aaron Rodgers?" And I was like, "Man, it's against Mac Jones and the Jaguars. I don't know if we're bringing him back after that. It depends on where he wants to go. If he wants to play. It's just disappointment. But hey, a little less disappointing for the Jets today. Definitely not a day. Okay, hello. Yes, hello, Tushy.
Hello, Tushy.
Real quick, too, I just want to bounce back to that Bills-Lions game because, Josh Allen's stat line is crazy. 23 for 34, 362 yards, was not sacked once, had 2 touchdowns, also had 2 rushing touchdowns and 68 yards on the ground. And also, real quick, to talk about that defense of the Lions, you could see the impact due to the lack of pass rush because Josh Allen, there was times where he had all day. He had all the room to maneuver in the pocket and in the backfield. And I think that made a significant difference. But holy crap, Jared Goff. 38 for 59. So he threw the ball over 40 times against the Packers. Now he threw the ball nearly 60 times, 494 yards.
Yeah.
5 touchdowns, was sacked 3 times. Like, they definitely can hang with any team. But once again, and this happened against the Packers too, there was no run game whatsoever. Now here, they went down pretty early. They were down 14-0, so they had to just throw the ball more. So that kind of makes a lot more sense. But it goes back to like the kind of game the Lions want to play. They want to be able to grind people down and have like Montgomery and Gibbs lead that charge, and Jared Goff only throws the ball 20 times. He obviously can throw it 60 times and find success, but at the same time, you know, it's not the usual winning formula for this Detroit team, usually.
No, they did throw a touchdown to Dan Skipper, so that was pretty cool. We'd like to see a Dan Skipper touchdown. I didn't get to watch a lot of this game in terms of the way I want to, but I did have it on during the Broncos game, and I was going back to it quite a bit, and I was like, this is very divisive for me, because being such a passionate Broncos fan, a game that was really important for the Broncos, where, you know, they win and they're basically guaranteed a playoff spot. And I was still drawn by the matchup that was Bills-Lions. Like, I was still shifting my attention to that game at moments during the Broncos game. And I would have never done that before. Then it's one, because I wanted to see good things for both of those teams. But two, it's just such a matchup. Yeah. And I mean, I just don't know how you stop Josh Allen at this point. And they've beat the Chiefs, and now they beat the Lions. So the Bills have the track record to show they can outplay the best teams. Now, if the Lions defense was healthy, who the fuck knows who the Lions are right now? Yeah. That's a what if, and it feels like it's going to be the thing that takes a Super Bowl out of their paws. But
so here's the thing too, right? So I just want to pull this up. Like, this is the amount of injury, and there's some big names that are on that list, obviously, and it's brutal. But I think there's a lot of
Spencer. I never leave the house.
I think there's a lot of doom and gloom, or at least there was some doom and gloom with the Lions fan base yesterday. Because one, it's been a while since they lost a game this season. One, and two, I think looking at the outlook and going like, oh man, like, our defense allowed that. Like, the defense did not look good yesterday. They just weren't good. Yeah. You're also going up against one of, if not the best team in the league, with the Buffalo Bills, right? Like, it's
one of the best offensive lines too. I think that's one thing we haven't talked a lot about the Bills. Josh Allen, no sacks, he said, right? No sacks. I think it's like 2 games in a row without a sack. Like, he's got the most time he's ever had to throw.
But like, the Bills are a great football team. And someone just mentioned too, right? There was even some complaints about the Bills. That was it, like 3 out of the 5 playoff teams, they allowed 35 plus points. Again, I cannot say this more clearly. There are no perfect teams in the NFL this season. There are none. And I'm not talking about record. Well, that too, but I'm not talking about record. I'm talking about play. It's literally week to week. Look at the Buffalo Bills, who lost to the Rams last week, right? Lost to the Rams, who the Rams they didn't score a freaking touchdown on Thursday. Again, divisional games have been crazy. Some of these matchups have been nuts. And at the end of the day, the Lions have to take down folks in the NFC. And I think that they have proven that they can go toe-to-toe, even with a battered defense, with anybody in the NFC. I know everybody wants to see the Lions-Eagles, which I think would be a phenomenal football game. But I don't think that there is a need for doom or gloom, because you're talking about the Eagles, the Lions, Packers, I think, can hang with anybody. Vikings might be in that competition. We'll see how they play tonight against the Bears, because that's a divisional game. You never know. It was crazy before. Those are like teams in the NFC, like, okay, they go toe-to-toe with anybody. Hell, look at the Buccaneers, man. The Buccaneers, they struggled with the Panthers going into overtime, and then they obliterated one of the best defenses in football. So it's just about, can you string enough wins together in the postseason to get to the Super Bowl? And I think the Lions, even after are still one of those teams. I still think the Eagles are one of those teams. You know, obviously they had a dominant win yesterday. But it's the same exact thing with the AFC. The Bills haven't looked perfect all year. Josh Allen's on a tear right now. He's looking really, really good. The Chiefs, they are beaten up to hell. We'll see what happens with Patrick Mahomes, but you can't count them out, right? Like
he already won a Super Bowl with a high ankle sprain. That is completely irrelevant to me at this point.
So, yeah, I don't know if we're staring at an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. I
tweeted that last night. I was like, Bills Lions Super Bowl we deserve, but we're gonna get fucking Eagles Chiefs again, aren't we?
We don't get Eagles Chiefs again. I just don't. Yeah. I'm bored of the matchup.
Yeah.
But
I'm bored of the matchup. I think the Eagles defense will actually be better suited to defend Patrick Mahomes because Fangio coached against Mahomes for 3 years here in Denver, and even though the Broncos kept losing those fucking games, like, he was coaching those defenses to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right, because I think once the playoffs finally start, any team can win or lose at this point. And I think, honestly, the Bills are the most likely team to bet on to not lose at the moment. The Steelers can win. They can beat any team, and they can lose to any team.
Yeah.
We've seen the Ravens destroy teams and then lose inexplicably.
Yep.
If the fucking Cincinnati Bengals somehow sneak into the playoffs, they're at 6% now. They can beat any team.
I think I literally said this on stream. I was like, if you give me this wild card matchup right now, Broncos Chiefs, I think there's a good chance the Broncos win that game. And it's not just because how close that game was before, but that if any, that's divisional games this year. They are the most unpredictable. They are the Browns, they beat the Steelers before, and the Steelers, they beat the Browns. You know what I mean? It just goes back and forth. So I think you look at the Bears, and they went toe-to-toe with the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions. They could have won all three of those games. And then they get less than 5 yards in the first half against another team who didn't score a touchdown on Thursday. Like, that's divisional games. And I feel like if you see those matchups this year, especially, oh boy, it could blow the doors out. Like, if the Eagles play the Commanders in the playoffs, I don't know. We're going to see what that matchup looks like next week.
Sure.
But, dude, I think it's anybody's ball game when it gets to the postseason, which is why it makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
Show up once.
The Broncos have scored 5 defensive touchdowns this season, which I saw Will tweet. Like, that ties him with the 2015 Broncos in defensive touchdowns. And if I'm really getting nitpicky here, going back to the early part of the season, I believe Denver had 2 defensive plays that were blown dead that should not have been blown dead that would have been touchdowns. So while our offense is dicey at times with our rookie QB, it's because our defense is scoring. And when you have an opportunistic defense, that's what keeps you in games. And they have the most opportunistic defense, I think, like in the AFC. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels played a really nice game. And there you go. Hell yeah, Scott Hansen. Grab your bonitas. Jaden Daniels basically ensured he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, I think.
Yeah, nice game.
But the Commanders, once Jake Haener was benched, Spencer Rattler came in. He was playing a little bit better.
Saints almost won that game.
And they almost won because the officials stopped the clock instead of letting it run. So they scored a touchdown because this clock stopped for the Saints. Luckily, the Commanders defended the 2-point play, and I've seen the Commanders prevent the Broncos from winning by defending a 2-point play.
Yeah,
but damn, like if the Saints say win that game,
it would have been
because of that,
dude.
Today, we would have been talking for 30 minutes about the officials screwing the Commanders. In that game, but they're a fun team.
It's why it's always interesting too. Like, there's always this assumption of malice by the refs. They're like, oh, they're trying to get this team to win. Nobody in their right mind is trying to get the New Orleans Saints to win. It's just pure incompetence. And I think that to have that mistake, because I saw the pool report afterwards, dude, they just messed up. And thank God the Saints did not win that game, because like you said, it would have been really bad.
Nuts.
It would have been terrible, especially for the Commanders who are vying for a playoff spot as well. So, hey, let's go, Bill. Let's go, Bill.
Oh, hell yeah, Bill. Pueblo.
Mm.
Pueblo. No, the Chiefs' luck has not run out. Nick Bolton had one of the luckiest, weirdest interceptions I've ever seen in that game for Kansas City. They still got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about Mahomes' injury at all.
No. The one time, Panthers, you've been playing better. I believed in you. And then Cooper Rush, 18 for 29, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns, only sacked one time. Rico Dowdle, who's been having he's put together a nice string of games, dude. 25 for 149. Like he's at over 100 yards. I think it was the last since Thanksgiving, right? Because he's had that.
Yeah, that was our first 100-yard game and first 20-yard rush in that game.
Bryce Young, 19 for 28, 219, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked 6 times.
Yuck.
It was a rough game for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. And again, shout out to the Cowboys for getting that win. They're now sitting at 6-8, which is honestly hysterical because I think they're going to play themselves out of a potential good draft pick and still fail to make the postseason. But dude, Panthers, I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, but did not happen yesterday.
Yeah. They look like the Panthers. It's all right. It's probably better for them in the long run, but would like to see them, lose on the final drive like they've been doing every week prior.
Yes, 100%.
I like maybe a little bit of the false hope it's giving Cowboys fans today too. That's nice. Maybe Mike McCarthy just saved his job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bryce had a bad game again. And that's the thing, it's going to happen.
Sure.
You can be excited about Bryce Young still. And I'm dealing with the same thing with Bo Nix. I didn't love the game from Nix, but when we had Marvin Mims get a big return and, we needed good field position and Bo Nix throws a touchdown to Nate Adkins. So, when the pressure's on, Nix is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Perna
we'll see if Bryce Young is the same. Bear down. Ooh, I got a 50.
You got 50?
I got a 50. Let's see here. Blue and orange teams. Unlike those other teams that can't understand complementary colors. Looking at you, Tom, and please let this 50 go towards Carmi's college fund. Hey, she's going to know about the color wheel before any kid in her class. Complementary, monochromatic, analogous. I know all of the color schemes.
You're doing great, buddy.
I've really enjoyed making love to your ears. I think that you have beautiful ears. They fit very nicely. So I would say it would be an erotic.
We've come a long way.
Oh, yes.
Come a long way.
Oh, yes. Right now, hey, potentially making a postseason appearance. We got 2 Monday night games tonight. For those who wish that they did not have eyes, you got the Falcons versus the Raiders, which, woof, that's going to be...
Hey, Falcons are going to win. And if Kirk Cousins can't play against the Raiders without Max Crosby, who's got to get ankle surgery now.
Yeah, which sucks, man.
Then, Atlanta, you got to start Penix. You got to pull Cousins. If he can't throw it against this team, burn it to the ground, Atlanta.
Dude, that's a great question. Eagles versus Bills. Oh, that'd be so good. Yeah, I think the Bills defense might struggle against... Again, it depends on the run game, right? If they're able to establish Saquon or I think that the Eagles might be able to take that, but that'd be a really good game. That'd be a really, really fun game. Dude, that's Super Bowl. If we're going to see the Eagles, I'd rather them go up against the Bills because I think that would just be a really fun matchup.
I think the Bills have an easier way to win that game. And that's if they can score, say 10 or 14 points. Early on Philly and force Philly to go away from Saquon Barkley, just like we watched them do it to Detroit, and they got away from running with Gibbs and Montgomery. That's how Buffalo could win and sort of control that game. But I think in 90% of the scenarios, that's just that's an ugly dogfight of a football game. That would be a good Super Bowl though. Bills Eagles. I would accept that in my heart.
It'd be good. Running back or tight end for the Broncos.
I think they should go
It's true, bro. It's true.
another offensive lineman.
There you go.
I don't know, man. It's got to be the right running back. Denver needs a running back that is like Alvin Kamara, a great running back and a great running back catching passes. You need a guy who can take, a quick pass where there's not anything there and actually turn it into a big gain. And we kind of got flashes of that with Jaleel McLaughlin, but we need a true workhorse dual threat running back type guy, not just a guy you hand off to 25 times, but a guy who's like 15 carries and 10 receptions in every game. I think that's what they need. I don't know if Sean Payton will ever commit to actually just running the football. So
that's fair. That's fair. Oh, yeah.
In front of his ex?
Bro, poor Will Levis, man.
Wait. His ex was watching? Who's his ex?
I do not know enough. Apparently, yeah. Will Levis got benched in front of his ex-girlfriend. Gia Duddy? I don't know who that is. So, there you go. That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. Oh, boy. Well, wasn't a great day. It's not a great day. I know. Exactly, Andrew. Exactly. Chargers didn't even charge themselves, man. They got beat down by those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ryan, we'll all be watching together, waiting for it to crash. The other game, which is the earlier game tonight for the doubleheader, is Chicago.
I don't think it's going to crash, Ryan. I don't think it's going to crash.
Cole, is there a gateway? Sure. I mean, they basically got to lose all of their games, and then the Vikings and Lions are playing each other the last week. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the Lions would have to lose that game for the Packers to have a shot. I kind of have given up on the division because I just want the Packers to make the postseason. So then it's just about seeding after that point. So, like I said, they can clinch, I think, next week if they would beat the Saints. So,
yeah. And the way the Packers are playing, they're built to win on the road right now.
Yep. So, again, they got to get healthy, get Jair Alexander back, get Bullard back. That's going to help with that secondary. And if that pass rush I know they looked really good last night because against a bad offensive line, but they've been getting better before that. And that's what's getting exciting. Yeah, I mean, listen, Lions fans shouldn't be happy, in terms of your defense getting decimated, and that could wind up costing you in the postseason. But I mean, you still have the number one seed in your sights, which might give you another week and some home field advantage, which is much needed. And again, anybody can beat anybody in this postseason. So Jalen gets to finish the story. Do you see that Chicago-Minnesota game? I think Minnesota being at home, that game is not going to be as close as it was when it was in Chicago. I have Minnesota winning, and I have Atlanta winning for tonight.
Yeah, Minnesota should win. I had an idea. I think the NFL should allow the Detroit Lions to hold their draft right now.
Just to try
the Lions should be allowed to draft right now, and they got to be kind of honest. They can't just with pick, say, what is it, 30? They can't just take the best defensive player. They got to pick a guy who would probably be available around 30, but they get to draft now, and they get to bring in their rookies now and play them on defense. I think that's what the NFL should do for Detroit.
There was a whole lot of go pack go chants in Lumen Field last night, so just saying, a lot of go pack go chants.
Yeah. My, how the 12th man has fallen. Where you at, Seattle?
Listen, I've been saying this at the Packers home games because, when the Lions come to town, they've been dominating the stands. So it was nice to, be on the other end of that for once. But
wait, did I?
Yeah, dude, it was scary. Yeah, Dubose, I'm so happy he is okay, man, because that was a scary, scary hit. So, what are you looking at?
Remember when I put the Rams ahead of the Seahawks? Boy, do I look smart now.
Put the Vikings in front of the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills have just lost to the Rams, though.
That's fair. Moss, he underwent surgery. So he came out with that statement a few days ago that he underwent surgery.
I think he's talking about Riley Moss. You're thinking of Randy Moss.
Sorry.
In Denver, our Moss is Riley Moss.
Sorry.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Randy Moss, he is battling. It is liver cancer, right?
Yeah, it was like in his the ducts and stuff, right? It was like his bile
Yeah,
ducts. I think
something.
he was talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had surgery, which is good. He got released from the hospital. That's good. So yeah, that's Riley. I don't know though. Sorry,
Riley, I don't think he's going to play Thursday. I wouldn't imagine, but
QB stats.
I think after that 10 days rest, Riley will be all right. And honestly, a team you can afford to be without maybe one of your corners, I think, is the Chargers. We just got to double team Lad McConkey, and the Chargers game going to be very interesting on Thursday night.
Hell yeah! Oh, by the way, statistically speaking, Lamar Jackson is virtually having a better season than his 2 MVP campaigns. He's 275 for 404, so 68.1%, over 3,500 passing yards, 743 rushing yards, 37 total TDs, 3 interceptions, 120.7 passer rating.
Yeah.
I know that Josh Allen has dominated that conversation over these past couple of weeks, which it makes sense. I mean, the guy had 6 touchdowns, week 4, and it's amazing. Yesterday, Lamar's still also having a very good season. Yes, had 5 touchdowns against the decimated Giants, but still. And that's how they're going to win, man. It's going to be Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry because it ain't going to be their defense. So, Ravens, I could see the Ravens going far in the postseason, and I can see the Ravens getting bounced in the first round if they play a division rival. I literally could see either or.
No, they're a wild card. All these playoff teams are wild cards in that we don't know them.
Wild card.
Give me Bills Ravens in the postseason.
If that's the AFC Championship game, I will take it.
Please.
I will take it.
Please.
It'll probably be the most fun championship game for the AFC.
Oh
Unless
my God,
it's Bills Bengals.
So much
that might
fun.
be wild too. Bills Bengals would be fun. And I don't think the Bengals are going to get in, which is unfortunate, but
still alive. I know, Kyle. I know.
Lamar,
we'll see what happens.
Lamar probably wasn't the actual MVP last year. So him having these insane numbers and, not getting it because Josh Allen's been, I think, more specifically valuable to the success of his team. It's kind of a fair trade-off. But yeah, Lamar he has played out of his mind.
Could go Sam Darnold too, NPR. I'd go Sam Darnold over Cooper Rush. But I don't like either of them on the Titans, to be honest with you. But that's it. That's it. So that's all I'm saying. Pernate, what do you got coming out today, Brosif?
You can go check out the Broncos Colts recap. What did I call that? The new worst mistake ever.
And thank you again, just Jonathan Taylor. I will be sending you a Christmas card, my friend.
There you go. Oh, dude, legit Eagles. The Eagles can beat any team. They're another team. I don't think that they'll be like a first round exit, but they're a team that I think they can lose, but they have been looking real, real good.
Yeah.
So you got to give them all the props. Hey, Gold, whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Yeah, I think the Bengals will be in the championship game.
The Bengals?
Sorry, the Eagles. The Beagles.
The Beagles. There you go.
The Beagles.
My Bucks and Packers divisional round NFC championship. I'd be fine with either because that means the Packers made it that far. So I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm good. There
you go.
I'll take that. So it will not be too bad. Hey, that's what I'm just saying.
But that's like 2 years from now.
Yeah, it might
I
be.
wanted Derrick Henry this offseason. We should have went for Saquon. Oh.
Let's go. Mike McCarthy, contract extension coming up, baby. Come on. That's what we want. That's what we need.
McCarthyism. What do you got, Tom?
It is an awesome venue to travel to. That is true. If the NFL is scripted, going to be coming out later today. Got a few ideas for that one. Going to be streaming the earlier game, so going to be doing the Bears-Vikings. I'm going to try to get every NFL fan's reaction out. I know I've been putting it on Tuesdays. I might have to do it again because the game is earlier tonight. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern instead of 8:15, and those 15 minutes makes a huge difference for recording. So might have to do that. If it will, I think my anxiety would be the highest it's ever been watching football if it is Vikings Packers NFC Championship.
Oh yeah, that would be
Because if
nail
the
biting.
Packers lost, I think I'd spontaneously combust. It would not be good. It would not be good. So it's true, FP. But yeah, we've had all that stuff coming out tomorrow. Chaotic Good Sports, and a reminder, folks, especially if you're tuning in, this Saturday, 11-hour fundraiser stream. Perna is going to be on the stream. Didn't think we were going to get to it, so we're going to rock. We're going to roll. Starting at 1 p.m. Going to be going till at least midnight. Trying to raise $100,000 for Rainforest Action Network. They're an awesome charity and organization. So that will be this Saturday. We're going to rock. We're going to roll. Hey, let's go. But folks,
Yes.
as a former teacher, that kills me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you have been navigated.
And you reached your destination with a
Where are we?
clean
Where are we?
butt. Your
Where
butt is
are you?
clean.